Hello and welcome to a very special episode. Well, we can even call it a 100 crore vaccination special, of frankly speaking. And tonight, joining me, everybody knows him as the Covaxin man. Dr. Krishna Ella, on frankly speaking, joins me tonight. Dr. Krishna Ella, what should I say to you? Namaskaram, pranam, good evening and salute you. And this country is proud of the initiative that you've taken, your company's taken, and today India can actually boast on the world stage that it has its own vaccination manufactured and discovered and brought out by India. What did it take, Dr. Krishna Ella, to get to that point and then to the 100 crore vaccinations in India point? How was your journey?
I'm really honored to be here today, seeing you. What I can tell you, India is amazingly done. I'm telling honestly, you asked me to talk frankly, I'm talking frankly. You look at it, US, Europe, Australia, Russia, all four countries together is not even reaching 100 crores. Whereas India reached 100 crores. Simple calculation. US to Europe, Australia, Russia, put together 100 crores. We have done 100 crores. I think, what I salute the citizens of this country. Honestly, I'm telling you, the people of this country who believed in it and went forward for vaccine. People talking so many hesitancy, all sort of things. People, media created some negative story. All that leaving apart, they went what government wanted them to take. They have gone for vaccination. I think that's a significant factor. And I salute really to the people of this country and healthcare workers who has delivered the 100 crores vaccine to the people without creating much adverse reactions and other problems into the system. And also the COVID program. And I'm telling you, many people talk COVID negative about it. I'll tell you honestly, COVID has got a strategic, very amazing strategy which has been put in for the country. You know why I'm saying it? Now I've been suggesting to the health ministry that how COVID can be used for doing an efficacy trial, effectiveness trial, other clinical trial. We can do fast track now because we have digitalized the system and we can monitor every one of us in the country much more systematically. How to put new ideas into the COVID is another going to be challenging one, and it can be done in this country. And I think India has done a great job for that. It is not that I'm an Indian citizen I'm talking. I'm as a public health person, I'm really convinced that India has done a great job.
Dr. Krishna Ella, this whole journey from the point where we started in March last year, the lockdown and the first awareness and, all the crossfire that is so natural and part of life in India because, whatever happens, there is a background score, a music, a harmony that goes on of the opposition versus the government. How did this whole journey start for you to start working on developing a vaccination that was an indigenous vaccination? And what kind of support did you have?
Navika, we were predicting pandemic will come to the one day or other. I was predicting this. In 2019, when Carnegie Mellon conducted a meeting in Bangalore, in September, October. And I was one of the panel discussion. And other Vijay Raghavan, who's a scientific advisor, he was also there in the meeting. And I did say that if any pandemic comes, entire tourism will be affected, hospitality will be gone, and IT business will be gone, and industries will be shut down. This I told in 2019, October. And having said that, as a scientist, I've been working on pandemic. For example, Chikungunya. We were the first one to file a global patent. Zika, even US was not aware of Zika spelling. And we were the first one to make a Zika vaccine. Although we had completed phase 1. Now Chikungunya, we are doing phase 3 trial in Costa Rica and Guatemala and Thailand and Philippines and India. Okay, so we were working in that pandemic. So because we want to identify as Indian company different from the multinationals. The reason we want to differentiate, they work on a vaccine which is globally required. Now, they focus on US business, European business. They will develop a vaccine which are important, high value for them. But I looked at it, what can happen, where I can differentiate. Multinational doesn't want to work on pandemic. Can I work on a pandemic, which I call as neglected diseases? The reason is, you look at all neglected disease in the world, mostly China, Hong Kong, Africa, India. They are the places where the places are neglected disease. All neglected disease becomes pandemic in the future. Like a SARS was a good example. Yellow fever, Zika, Chikungunya, everything Africa, Asian disease, flu comes from China. So like that, malaria came from China. So like that, you look at it, all neglected disease becomes pandemic. So I think I was predicting that we have to work on neglected, which will turn out into pandemic. So I was predicting long back, but it was only a little delayed. But this is a test of it right now. We're going to see, if not in the human, we're going to see it in the animal side, we're going to see in the plant side, you're going to see a lot of other pandemic and other coming into other segments also. So I think we need to be watching. And I think we are well geared up as a country now.
Dr. Krishna Ella, when you could predict this, were there many people who were listening to you? Were there systems in our country that listen to such warnings, early warnings that come in, act on these early warnings? Is there a mechanism? Because we've learned the hard way that when you don't predict and you don't anticipate problems, solving problems becomes a huge challenge, especially in a situation of a pandemic. So I want to ask you, as a country which is a developing country, are our mechanisms of decision making, policy making, well oiled enough to take these advance warnings and then begin to work, or have these lessons only been learned in the challenging atmosphere of the current pandemic called COVID-19?
I mean, in the challenging time, our government machineries and the regulatory system was delayed by 3-4 months in activating. Yes, there was a delay, okay? But US was very quick in acting, and without even animal trial, they went directly into human clinical trial. But in our system, we've had to go according to schedule. Why? We need to do the toxicology and all the procedure and follow that. Yes, there was a delay by lag of 3 to 4 months, but we caught up afterwards. And I think the Prime Minister visiting to the vaccine manufacturing companies like us and Serum Institute and Zydus Cadila in Ahmedabad also kick-started the regulatory system to open up quickly. So I think in a way, the Prime Minister's visit also helped us. Not for us. I'm not going to contest in any election or member of parliament. So what I'm saying is, his visit also activated the regulatory system and healthcare system. Everything get activated. So I think he visiting us is also moral motivation for us as a scientist. We're also morally, activated in that game and feel like doing something great. And at the same time, the regulatory system also started waking up quickly. And that changed quite a bit of game.
Dr. Krishna Ella, at any point did you feel disheartened because, in our country, challenges and charges flow thick and fast, and there is no mincing of words, and democracy in its full form can be seen because nobody censors anything. They just about say everything, express every doubt in the open and on social media. At any point, did you and your team feel disheartened, or did you take it in your stride that this is India, yahan to aise hi hota hai?
I mean, I got a lot of disheartened, a lot of places, and my family also were hurt, some of the places. But we looked at the country at large. So we neglected all these things. We don't even look at it, those things, and keep forwarding, because our culture is to pull the people down when somebody is going fast. So I think we just have to ignore that and keep moving forward what we believe in it. Yes, it was hard. Some of the things says, they're using a human cell line, animal fetal cough syrup, all sort of stories came in and hurted. But every vaccine research uses a different angle. But certainly, I was not believing all this thing. I just move on, what I believe in science, and moved it. That's all. But so I started stopping watching TV and newspapers, reading newspaper, and I'm not in the social media. So therefore, I'm breaking. Some people tells me, I said I ignore, but I had to move forward. That's the only way. There's no other choice.
I know a lot of people spend a lot of time cursing the media because we happen to bring all the bad news, and people begin to avoid us because they want to avoid what other people are saying, and that's not fair.
Absolutely,
I must say, because
absolutely,
it's
absolutely.
not our fault. We just are the medium that carries the words of other people. But we bear the brunt, on different occasions. But Dr. Krishna Ella, in May, when we were going through the throes of the second wave, at that time, did you really feel that we would come so soon to a milestone of 100 crore vaccination doses in a country called India with 135 crore people? At that time, could you imagine this? And what did it take to get here?
That was extremely a good question, actually. The reason is that's a time we didn't predict that this many vaccines are required. So when the first wave is over, everybody thought that there's no vaccine required. So we were also become a little lethargic, okay, should we invest more money or not? All sort of discussions going on. And we also a little bit took it easy. And I think it pulled us down. And then we woke up. The second wave started, we woke up. And I think, yes, there was some delay happened from our side also.
Any specific steps that actually brought us back on track? Did we all sort of lose sight of the fact that the danger was still lurking? And since you've been an astrologer and you predicted that there was a pandemic around the corner in 2019, what does your crystal ball say about a third possible wave? Is it around the corner?
I'm not an astrologer, but
No, for us, you are the medical astrologer.
No, I'm only predicting my Deepavali. Diwali is going to be a critical parameter for India. If this Diwali, after 15 days of Diwali, we don't have any incident in this country, I think we are through. That Diwali is going to be a testing point because we passed a Ganesh Chaturthi. Fortunately, no incident in Maharashtra. We've passed Dasara. Fortunately, not much incidents in Gujarat and West Bengal and all that. Good sign. And now we have to pass Diwali. If we pass Diwali, then I think if there's no incident, and I think we are in a good shape as a country. So we have to be watching. Even if it comes also, even if it comes, what we can think about it, we are developing a lot of alternative strategies, like a nasal vaccine. Can it be given a booster, a ring immunization? Yeah, suppose Kerala affects the ring around the cities, we can vaccinate so that it doesn't spread beyond that area. So we're thinking all those new ideas. And that's the vaccine manufacturer, we're thinking that idea. And also hospitals are well geared up today. And I think they have multiple treatment plans. There is SOPs and oxygen, everything is in place right now. I don't think we will have those sort of seriousness. That is what I predict. But the disease has not gone yet. It is there still, lurking on us.
You've also been given an emergency use trial for children between the ages of 12 and 18. And I want to ask you, would you advise people to go in and get this vaccination so as to prevent children from getting COVID so that they can have a normal life of going to school, attending classes, schools reopening? Or do you think this is an area where still we should be a little more conservative in our approach?
I mean, again, this is a very controversial question. And whatever I say tomorrow, again, somebody's going to write something negative. Well, I'll ask a simple question to them, to every parent. Do you want your child to be protected or not? If you ask me, I have a grandson, 5 years, 6 years. I want to protect him. The reason I want to protect him, he may not get seriousness of a disease, but if he's got an infection, that 5%, 2% of lung infection, okay, the child may not express I have a infection like that. So you may not get fever also, but lung infection might be there in a hidden angle of infection. And that infection, will it cause any problem in next 5-10 years of quality of the life for the child? I do not know. I'm not a medical practitioner, but I can say there will have an impact on something or other in the long term on this thing. People are questioning some vaccines can cause even problem after 5 years. Okay, that type of things. If you look at it, the COVID, if some child gets infection, whether child will have a heart attack in say 20 years or 25 years, because COVID positiveness is also causes of myocardial infarct, myocarditis problem. Okay, so will that happen in next 15, 20 years now? I do not know. But if you have a vaccine, why not? Then again, parents has to take a decision. And again, many people come in the panel discussions, throw each one different ideas, opinions, and spoil the system. Okay, but they should have concrete discussion. We have to tell what is science tells. Right now, what is not science has not told us. Science has not told us that small infection will have impact in anything in 5-10 years. Science has not told anything yet. Okay, what it tells us 1 to 2% of the children gets hospitalized. That science is telling. And whatever child 1% who is getting admitted in the hospital is very serious. Not mild, it's very serious. So, and that child, a lifetime has to face a problem in the future. So I think people have to look at that angle. The science cannot tell you right now everything, but then you have to use some common sense and approach to those sort of things. And look at measles. Measles, all child doesn't get a measles, but then we give measles vaccine, thinking that it will protect anything future comes in. So I think people have to look at it in a different angle. But again, it's a conflict of interest as a manufacturer to recommend a vaccine to a child. That is not my job. But I'm only talking as a scientist what is right and wrong.
Very well said. You're saying that people come and say all sorts of things. Tomorrow they might also say about you that you're opposing democracy, because the main feature of democracy in India that people appreciate is the fact that they just speak uncensored. They can target anybody any day they decide, whether it's fact or not fact. It's democracy. Do you believe that is causing more harm than good in our society and in our country and overall development at large?
Navika, you know what bothers me? It's not bothers me because I've now stabilized as a company, stabilized. But there are so many young generations starting companies in this country. They are going to be really hurt. They're scared. Should we get into this field when it gets into controversial like this, when it gets into problem? How do you handle this? Private equity fellow will think now, should I invest in a vaccine company? This becomes, do I have my investment is going to be safe or not? So everything is interlinked. And also today, the entire media is globalized. People have to look at it, what we talk, does it affect India also? It affects Bharat Biotech, doesn't matter. But will it affect India? As a scientist of this country, will it affect the scientists of this country? So people should have some balance of thinking in that direction. So they have every freedom to attack, not a problem for them. But in the back of the mind, they should think at a country at large and society at large and scientists at large in the country. But everybody has got a freedom to tell whatever they want to. Everybody has got liberty. But they should have mature way of democracy, mature way of talking.
Very well put. I want to ask you, and I want to ask you this straight and direct. Covaxin, an indigenously made vaccination, we hear all kinds of stories of global majors, multinationals that have a stranglehold over the pharma and the medical, fraternity and the medical, injections, call it pharmaceuticals, call it any cures that exist. Do you think this kind of uncensored targeting of your vaccination, of other vaccinations has caused damage to companies like yours, and can in the future continue to do so, because it's a very competitive world out there, and there are multinationals that are such huge mega multi-country global superpowers. Do you think this causes India to be on the back foot?
I just want to understand my all competitors in the world that I've produced one of the oldest technology, 100 years old technology. I'm not a competitor for them. I'm not a competitor for mRNA vaccine where I'm competing with them. Actually, they should think global public health at large, that these old platform also should exist in the society. Okay, have an alternative to the people. Okay, they should look at that angle. I don't think they should look at me as a commentator. They should look at me whether these old technology also should be there in the system so that some people can be benefited out of it. Because now some of the technology cannot be given to some people. So our vaccine can be given to those people. So I think people should not be as selfish. People should be more broad-minded, look at it, public at large, so that some other alternative old technology also exists and have availability to some of the population.
But do you think that altruism exists in the real world, or is profit the boss, the king?
I have a vision statement in my company. No country, no company is my competitor. Only infectious disease is my competitor. That's my slogan in last 20 years, my vision statement in my all employees and everybody in my presentation. I tell no country or company is my competitor. It is a infectious disease my competitor. So I always imbibe with the positive thinking, and I live in that positive thinking, and I want to live like positive thinking.
Dr. Krishna Ella, you are awaiting and we are awaiting as a country for WHO to recognize Covaxin internationally. Do you think there are biases? I know it's a very direct question, and at the juncture where you are giving a absolutely frank opinion on that might be a bit of an issue. But I still want to ask you, is the world unbiased out there?
Again, Navika, you're putting me in an awkward situation. But I will tell you one thing. We are 5 to 6 vaccines are WHO pre-qualified. We supply more than 120 countries already. Okay? We have proven not only supplying the vaccine, we have done a clinical trial, phase 1 trial in US. We have done phase 2B in Oxford in UK, human challenge studies. We have done effectiveness studies in more than 14 countries. And we have more than 120 publications. Okay? We have done globally. Okay, I don't think they will be looking at that angle, and whatever the document want, we gave it. So maybe they feel that already too many manufacturers are coming for WHO pre-qualification. They may be having a lag period for that, but I think we will come to know soon on that and what the story is going to be next week. And but I think I'm optimistic of everything in my life. So,
do you think it's taken longer than usual? Because you are an Indian company?
I don't think so, but I think we have to look at it. They went on vacation. Europe is on vacation in September, August, September. Usually Europe is on vacation. So that might be the reason, but I don't think I should tell anything beyond that. But regulatory, I'm not supposed to comment on anything.
Well, if anybody wants to read between the lines, they will, Dr. Krishna Ella, because the pandemic's not on vacation. The pandemic is raging on across the globe, and regulators are on vacation, tells the story of where we are going on this. Well, Dr. Krishna Ella, what can I say to a man who has held the hope for this country, a man who has managed to save so many lives by making those vaccinations available. Dr. Krishna Ella, I, on behalf of this country of 135 crore, salute you and thank you for the yeoman service that you've done to this country. And today is the day to celebrate, because 100 crore is not everything, but clearly 100 crore is a milestone that actually ups everybody's morale and confidence, and that, I think, is the winner of the game. Would you agree?
I fully agree with that. I think significant progress, both doctors, medical fraternity and government system, and even media. Media also promoted positive side of the stories too. That has also impacted, and the press, everybody. And I think it's a network of all the system that work favorably for the country to achieve that 100 crores. It's not an easy task, particularly for India, which is a very complicated country in a way. So reaching 100 crores is not an easy task.
Absolutely. On that note, thank you very much, Dr. Krishna Ella, for joining me on Frankly Speaking. Good night, thank you, and Jai Hind.
Thank you.